This podcast is a member of the New York City Podcast Network at nycpodcastnetwork.com. Visit us to listen to over 250 amazing podcasts just like this one.
Japanese street style is some of the cutest and trendiest clothing in the world. Introducing Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing and Accessories, the hottest original and cute clothing company. We offer tops, clothes, accessories, shoes, dresses and skirts, and comfortable homeware that we guarantee you will love. Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing, super cute Japanese style clothing.
This is Black Wall Street Chronicles, and we're back at it again. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I'm Jeffrey Frazier, the host, stand-up comedian, social media influencer, and IT specialist. Those are the three things that I am. If you want to look at the live stream of this podcast, my YouTube channel is Pain308 TV. That's Pain 308 TV, PAIN 308 TV. If you want to look at this stream on Twitch, my Twitch account is Jeff Gamer 55 Ryer. That's Jeff Gamer 55 Ryer, JEFF GAMER 55 RYER. Jeff Gamer 55 Ryer. Thank you, everyone. Now, today on this podcast, I am going to talk about how scientists are saying that the sperm count of American men is down by 50%. And we're basically going to do a deep dive on it. It's a very quick episode. I'm say a couple of talking points. I'm going to read a couple of articles, and I'm going to give my opinion on why the sperm count is down by 50%. All right? So give me a moment. Let me pull up a couple of articles. Alrighty. Study published today in the Human Reproduction Update Medical Journal found that sperm counts and concentration have declined year after year, dropping more than 50% for many men living in the Western countries. Sperm counts are on the decline for many men in the most developed countries in the world, according to the new study. The research, based in Hebrew University Hadassah Brown School of Public Health and Community Medicine and the Akan School of Medicine in Mount Sinai, reported a drop in both sperm concentration and total sperm count in their findings. Dr. Hago Levine, lead author, study and head of environmental health track at the Hebrew University Hadassah Brown School of Public Health and Community Medicine in Jerusalem, said the results were extremely alarming. There's a definite answer to the question. Sperm counts have declined, Levine said. It's obvious for Western men, he added. The research analyzed information from 185 studies consisted of 42,935 men. They looked at men from primarily developed Western parts of the world, including United States, Australia, and Europe, and as well as other areas including Asia, South America, and Africa. The groups are divided into unselected men such as college students or military recruits were unlikely to be aware of their fertility, and fertile men were known to have children or impregnated women. The data revealed that from 1973 to 2011, unselected men from Western counties had a 52% drop in sperm concentration, from 99 million per millimeter to 47 million per millimeter. In addition, there was a 59% decrease in total sperm count, dropping from 337 million to 137 million. The drop was so steep for Western men that the study authors wrote that the new research is urgently needed to repress the possible public health threat. For fertile men from Western countries and from both unselected and fertile men from non-Western countries, the drop was much less severe or non-existent. Levine said the study highlighted the need for more research on men's issues with fertility. He pointed out that unlike other areas of medicine, men were not as well suited as women for fertility problems. In fertility, men are neglected. This is a problem that we must prevent, he said. He pointed out that there is little concrete advice doctors can give to men with low sperm counts. We also to put much more attention in the problem, Levine said, especially when studies have shown that the low sperm count is a strong predictor of morbidity and mortality. While the study did not examine possible causes for the dropping sperm counts, the authors did highlight a few possible reasons. That includes chemicals that disrupt hormones, exposure to certain pesticides, return of smoking during pregnancy, and overall lifestyle factors. Dr. Amir Hirschlad, Chief of Fertility at Norfolk Health in New York, said the medical community may focus on genetics, environmental hazards, and even global warming to try to find a reason for the decline. Are we exposing ourselves to environmental components that are toxic to sperm? Asked that question while speaking to Healthline. He pointed out that there's been concern about plastic materials containing BPA disrupting hormones. Harsha also wondered, what is the effect of industrial pollution? Since the drop was seen in Western countries and not in Asia, Africa, or South America, Shauna H. Swan, PhD, co-authored a study in the profession of the Department of Environmental Medicine and Public Health at Icahn School of Medicine in Mount Sinai in New York, said the medical community will need to examine if exposure to chemicals could be one reason for the change. The definitive study shows for the first time that the decline is strong and continuing, Swan said in a statement, that the fact that the decline is seen in Western countries suggests that the chemicals in commerce are playing a casual role in this trend. Dr. James Goffrop, Division Chief of Reproductive Endocrinology and Infertility at UH Cleveland Medical Center, said that the current sperm concentration numbers documented in the study would not be considered in the danger zone for fertility issues. However, if the numbers continue to fall, it could be a problem for fertility in the coming decades. If you look at this over the next 20 or 30 years, the average sperm count could drop to the point where people are troubled, Goffrop told Healthline. Additionally, Goffrop said he's concerned that the drop in sperm counts could be a sign young men today are at increased risk for unknown health conditions in the future. They say is the canary in the coal mine, Goffrop said. Is this the harbinger of the other things going on that will impact men's health? Interesting. That's crazy. I'm going to read a couple of more articles. This article is in New York Times. I hope I'll be able to read it. Sperm count in Western men has dropped over 50%. Since 1973, the paper finds. Okay, this is a New York Times article by Maya Salam. The sperm count of Western, this was made in August 16, 2017, so this was 2 years ago. The sperm count of Western countries have been declining precipitously with no signs of leveling off, according to new research, bolstering a school of thought that male health in the modern world is at risk, possibly threatening fertility. By examining thousands of studies and conducting a meta-analysis of 100, the most comprehensive to date, an international team of researchers ultimately looked at seed samples for 4,935 men from 50 countries from 1973 to 2011. Okay, this is a more deeper dive into that the last article. They found sperm concentration, the number of sperm per million of semen, that has declined each year, amounting to a 52.4% total decline in men from North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Total sperm count among the same group also tumbled each year for a total decline of 59.3% over the nearly 40-year period. This is the Western countries. Western countries, these nations comprise about 75% of the results. Australia, Belgium, Canada, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Greenland, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Spain, Sweden, Ukraine, United Kingdom, and the United States. These nations comprise the remaining 25 or so percent. Brazil, Chile, China, Cuba, Egypt, India, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Japan, Jordan, Kenya, Libya, Malaysia, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Peru, Singapore, South Africa, Taiwan, Tanzania, United Republic of Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey. The decrease in sperm count was first reported a century ago, but the new analysis showed that the decline is strong and continuing, saying Dr. Sean H. Swan of the study's authors and professors at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York. And while this paper offers the most data yet on the subject of lengthy debate, it is far from settled as the cause of impact on fertility and whether it has any real-life consequences remain unknown. Alan Pacey, a professor of embryology at the University of Sheffield in Brooklyn, who wrote an article in 2013 questioning this sort of research, been skeptical of studies that had claimed a recent decline in sperm count. He noted that a 52.4% decline in concentration may sound like a lot, but it represents a change from normal 99 million sperm per meter to normal 47 million sperm per meter. Still, Professor Pacey conceded in a recent interview that the new paper piqued his interest and represented a step forward in the clarity of the data, which might ultimately allow us to better studies to examine this issue. Possible causes. The downtrodden in sperm count is seen in Western countries suggests that chemicals and commerce are playing a role. While this survey did not focus on the causes of these declines, it's often pointed to the existing research that showed that exposure to cigarette smoke, alcohol, and chemicals while in utero, as well as stress, obesity, and age, were factors in the drop. If the mother smokes, her son's sperm count is decreased. That has been shown in multiple studies, she said. 2005 study, Dr. Swan showed that the preferential exposure to phthalates also plasticizes development of sons. Phthalates are a group of chemicals used to make plastics more flexible and harder to break. In several studies over the last 2 decades, they have been known to disrupt operation of male hormones like testosterone and is linked to genital birth defects in male infants. Dr. Swan, who conducted a 2008 study about phthalate exposure, said that scientists have the ability to measure exposure to plasticizers only since 2000 via urine. That has led to a 20-year lag in the process since researchers cannot enroll men to produce sperm until they're in their late 20s. That evidence is a missing piece of the puzzle. Professor Pacey cautions that while the changes in data may be given by a greater exposure to pregnant women or adult men to more man-made chemicals, it is soon to draw conclusions. No trend studies were performed in the first half of the 20th century, said Neil Steckerback, a reproduction researcher at the University of Copenhagen. But in the 1940s, fertility doctors claimed that men should have at least 16 million per sperm millimeter to be considered normal, and that many more than 100 million per millimeter. Nowadays, average young men have 40 to 50 per millimeter. Professor Schuckerbach, author of 1992 study, suggests that chemicals play a role in the steady decline in semen quality, has since indicated that the rise in the normal male reproduction system may be linked to exposures to endocrine-disrupting chemicals. We must find out the ones to blame for the problems of male reproduction, including male infertility and testicular cancer. The website for Centers of Disease Control and Prevention said that the effects from low-level exposure to pollinates are unknown, but it is acknowledged that some type of pollinates have affected the reproduction system of laboratory animals and more research is needed. The agency declined to further comment. The National Institutions of Health had also declined to comment on research. The American Society of Reproductive Medicine did not respond to for itself for comments. In Denmark, 8% of the children are now born assisted reproduction, he said. In spite of this activity, the birth rates have been 40 years been significantly below replacement level. The number of young Germans have already declined 50% since the 1960s, he said, adding there's a similar pattern has been seen in Japan, which, while not a Western country, is a developed one. In the United States, he said the fertility rate among white people is below the levels where the population can be sustained. Let me repeat what I just said. In the United States of America, he said the fertility rate among white people is below the levels where the population can be sustained. Guys, no disrespect to white people, but this is an article from the New York Times that's saying this. Alright? Data about assisted pregnancies has been linked to women having children later in life. In the developed nations, statistics have shown that more than fewer women are choosing to have fewer babies, which also contribute to fluctuations. Non-Western men. In a recently released research, no significant decline in sperm quality was seen in men from non-Western countries, but this segment made up only about a quarter of the results. Dr. Hagi Levine, the head of environmental health track at Hebrew University of Jerusalem, who led the team, said one of the differences between Western and non-Western countries is that main chemicals like Pilates became widespread much earlier in time in developed nations. Professor Schuckerbach said that the reproduction issues among African men were less common. It's already shown that Africans have significantly lower rates of another testicular problem, testicular cancer. So, according to the scientists, white men are having trouble with their sperm count. And then black men, African men, are having troubles with testicular cancer. So it's affecting all men. It's nothing to do with race. A study published last fall that looked at the samples for over 3,600 Chinese men asserted that semen quality and sperm count in the men have declined over a 15-year period, ending in 2015, with the percentage of qualified donors in human clinic falling to 55.8% to 17.8% in that time. To qualify, donors need to meet acceptable semen parameters, including sperm concentration, sperm motility, and semen volume. We urgently need international research collaboration to detect the Professor Schuckerbach said. That's very interesting, y'all. So, anybody who's watching the stream or watching this stream in the future, tell me, what do you think is the cause? According to the article here, the reason why the sperm count in men is down 50% because of, they're saying is because of pesticides, chemicals, and plastics that is affecting our hormones. And the fact that we have these mothers who have their sons and they're smoking and they're doing drugs. So if you are dealing with a woman who's an addict, who's smoking cigarettes, even smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol, and they have a son, you need to understand there's a high possibility that they're going to have a low sperm count and health problems in the future, according to these articles that I'm reading. And here's another thing. We have the adult entertainment industry. You know, we have the adult entertainment industry, we have Instagram, we have images of sex thrown at us at all times. So, are men throwing away their sperm count because they're masturbating to their favorite adult star or OnlyFans.com? I don't know if these articles are correct. All of these men out here are basically masturbating their futures away. You know, there's this idea with the manosphere, that's what they call them, called semen retention, where a man does not look at porn, does not have sex, and he's able to retain his semen. They got this thing going around in the internet called No Nut November, where men in the month of November hold in their semen and they meditate and they stop thinking about sex. That may be ideal, because if we have these plastics and we have these food that's basically affecting, you need to understand that if the sperm count gets lower, the population of humanity is going to go down. And it's happening in Western developed countries. We claim to be so developed and so advanced, we're actually killing our men and killing the all of this pollution. We're actually killing off our men and basically murdering the whole human race while doing it. It's very interesting. Well, thank you for listening to this podcast episode. This episode's going to be very short, because all the articles that I'm looking at right now in my cell phone is basically saying the same thing. So, this is Jeffrey Frazier of Black Wall Street Chronicles, and I'm signing off.